I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grimm wore her patience thin a long time ago. Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or a mantis worm wings. So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else. Sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff, and some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell. Would you? I'd appreciate that so much. Maybe don't tell him I wanted you to ask. Just that you met this really nice lady named Celia, and she seemed... Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find it. Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else besides. A man with a good smile. You think that's what I'm looking for? Sorry.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean, more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and pack boxes herself if she's in such a hurry. Did she now? Well, I can see I was mistaken. Because if Catherine really had sent you, there'd be a lot more expletives in your message. I hope you can forgive my temper. This job has been running me ragged lately. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief pescatological health manager is missing. This again? I swear, this is the last time I contract for any special requests. You can tell Grimm his poster came in. You can also tell him I got a better offer for it. So now it's going to Nell. That about cover it? She runs the betting parlor across the way. Nice professional lady. She asked me about the poster once. Just once. Made a real generous offer, too. Damn right it is. No. I paid Sublight for it. So, it's mine. And when Nell pays me for it, it'll be hers. Grimm may have asked for the poster, but it's not his until I take his money. Sure can. I got a feeling you and Catherine would get on like tumors on a pig. Take the poster then. And if I never hear another word about it, it'll be too soon. Something else on your mind? Caleb Herrick runs the autoloader operators. He thinks I don't pay them enough for flipping switches and turning dials. He and his whole crew walked out. Say they won't come back unless... You mind slapping him around a little while you're... I'm joking. If you can find a way to get him back to work, I'll make it worth your while. Sublight Bob. Unless you're here to hard workers? They turn Caleb and his crew have it better than anyone else around here. I don't have the bit. Besides, if I make an if Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. I'm about ready to hire Sublight. For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave? Maybe so, but I bet you Caleb runs out of bits first. He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk, but if the money's real, I bet you... Fine by me.
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? I keep wondering if it's come in. Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink on Mr. Holcomb's signature. I can't thank you enough. Still, you can have the bits I was going to spend at the bar this week. And you know what? Take my old tossball blocker, too. Never get the chance to use it these days.
New face, huh? You from Offworld? A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, let me buy you a drink. Consider it an MSI welcome. Why don't you grab a chair, sit a spell, and revel with us? Sure thing. What did you want to discuss? I never meant to call for anyone's head on a pike. Velma's not my favorite person, but she ain't been cruel to us. Devil it all. Now you got me feeling sorry for her. Fine. I guess we'll go back to work to save Velma's job. We'll find a better time to negotiate our wages. Tell Velma not to worry. We'll look out for her.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but I'm up to my elbows in salt tuna guts. Braxton. He's a real... I would if I weren't busy here, since you don't seem to be constrained yourself. Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra jugs he's been taking from supply. Something else? Stealing such a nasty... And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get used a little... We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping on. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how to get this all. You knocked any sense. Well, that's awful nice of him. Sure wouldn't have expected that. Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Honest work deserves honest pay.
Help! Someone's been killed!
I think I'm gonna be sick. I clean the apartments while everyone's at work. If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the Now, if you'll...
Whatever you do, don't mention tossball to Isaac.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh? Braxton, I've never even heard of a... No! Okay, maybe, just a little... Braxton always has a good stash, and I just like to let loose a little. Stop thinking about the marauders and the raptidons outside, you know? Oh, damn. He told me he was delivering to this house in the ruins south of town. Whole family had fallen sick, and he had some meds on him. So, maybe...
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial H. Mammoths. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch? Ha! Maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you? Graham's always filling the airwaves with his propaganda, like it's done him any good. All it means is the tossball games get to us in fragments. Makes him real hard to watch. Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth. They were pretty distinct. Monarch doesn't exactly have a thriving dental industry, and Isaac seemed to get stuck in all sorts of bad habits, dietary and otherwise. Sometimes he'd drink purpleberry punch by the liter, other times he'd keep betting on a losing team, started owing the wrong people money. I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do. If it isn't the famous hacker, what can I do for... Graham's all it means...
Sounds like Raft in here.
Oh, it does work.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the pinch clock heals, the work...
Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in Raptidon tongue? You look like a man...
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those crates to market. Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business. Oh yeah? What are you saying exactly? Wow. Most of the pencil pushers around here cave as soon as you look at them funny. Fine, we're going. This ain't worth it.
Well, new business. Celia,
That you...
how can yield improvements of 26.7?
You've up...
Clear my schedule. Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't... I only hope you don't judge me by... Now. The adjutant herself? Why, I knew the board would see...
Sir?
Right. Now, see here. You may tell your corporate masters that we will deign to rejoin them on the board, but only... Why, we've got the numbers on our side. What more could we need? Though I take it from your appealingly gruff demeanor and blunt charm that you're not actually here to welcome us back to the board. Now, there's no need to humor me. I'm used to... I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back. Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious. Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but a rather costly paramour. I have people to look after. I need to be practical.
That's why Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time...
Well, you don't have to rub it in.
I think he means to warn you about working against the board.
What a notion. We want to rejoin the board, to our betterment and theirs. And my plan involves a two-pronged approach, the first part of which is seeing Stellar Bay properly defended. Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities.
And you'll have a powerful...
Why, one of the strongest defenses... I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but...
You do tend...
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town. And these days... Do be careful. I've lost more than a few... Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't... What can I do for you? But that's terrible. What happened? I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually. Of course I would have. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. You'd head south along the road and look... But if you insist on going...
If...
I see. And... Well, that's excellent. What else can I do? Then it's... I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we... Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2, but back then it was known as Terra 1. Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names.
Here, though...
And as the other corporations began to tally their That's also what I thought. While we were young, we saw the chance to improve working hours and conditions. Nonsense! They're good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other, creating the perfect... Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives with... But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't supposed to notice I was avoiding the subject.
This is why you've never been good with presentations, sir.
Very well. Many, many years ago, Graham Bryant and I used to be collaborators. Graham Bryant. He leads a group of extremists, but he used to be as much a part of the corporate machine. Indeed. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2. Many of us chose to stay behind. And as the most senior executive remaining, I moved forward with our planned reforms as well as our strategy. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign. I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I did... It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous, for the greater good. I'm all for reasonable regulations, but the board hasn't demonstrated the kind of peril. Much as I hate to say it, the board's leadership can be... Why wouldn't anyone? They own to be on the board. Indeed, we've got to... If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide... Besides...
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yes. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've... What can I do?
You look like a man. Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to ask her how that Raptidon I hope it's working okay. Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a discount, Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real fine lady. Always talks nice and slow, so I understand. But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit, on account of no one else having any use for Raptidon tongues. You sound pretty sure. And she is awful nice. Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice. Maybe to Chef Raymond's. You look like a man who's...
Have you talked to Sebastian yet? What did he say? Okay, but how did he say it? Did he sound excited? Was he like, yay? Not to worry. If I never buy another Raptidon tongue, it'll be too soon. Ah, look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do, and Mr. Nandi's giving me that back-to-work look. Anyhow.
Visitor? What an unexpected surprise! Please, come in. Come in. I'm afraid we don't get many visitors out here. The Raptidons and Marauders scare off all but the boldest. And if you've braved them, you must be exhausted. I'm sure I would remember something like that. Now, quit fretting yourself about that. Make yourself at home. You must be Is it sticking again? There's a bit of a trick to Jimmy. I do.
What a pleasant, yet the Eternal does not out here. Just that you're present. Look at me.
Oh, hi there. That's what. There was this other man who used to bring them. I don't know. He said they were making us sick. Mom and Papa got real mad at him for that. They went to have a talk with him. Afterwards, they said he wasn't coming back again. Mama and Papa said he came from the city when we got sick one time, and they worked. Now we feel better than ever.
But what's this? You're tracking blood and... Oh dear.
Quickly, my dear. He's getting agitated.
Don't worry. I ain't dying today!
I hear those rich people in Byzantium pay a handsome bit for that mess. Supposedly, it makes you more attractive for, you know.
Trust me?
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but I'm up to my elbow. That he's got his load on it. That's... Wow. I sure feel like an ass now. Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on Catherine herself. Still, it's good to know what happened to him. And that I ought to start something else. Well, hello, and welcome to the home of the iconoclasts. I'm Rose. Please take a pamphlet. In it, you'll find everything you need to know. Oh no! Why, we're the only free... No corporation. We make our own living here. Some of us hunt, some of us scavenge the roof. You're welcome to stay. The new boy! Yes, he's quite clever. Last I saw him, he was headed...
Looks like I'm not the only new face around here. Welcome to Amber Heights, Captain. You here to join the I am not a little boy. Haven't been one for decades, no matter what my mama wishes. I take it she's still looking for me? Had hoped she'd accept my decision. According to her, stepping foot outside of the house in broad daylight is too dangerous. My entire life, she crammed a fear of danger down my throat. Don't go play with friends. Mantisaurs will tear your arms off. Don't leave the city. Raptidons will spit acid on your face. Marauders can violate you. You'd fall in a sulfur pool. I stuck around way too long. She doesn't want to see me as anything other... You're right.
Oh, Cap...
Mama,
Oh, we'll get... What a sour thing to...
Mama.
Here...
May I help you with something, my good man? At last. I was beginning to think I'd waste away in this wretched place, waiting on orders from our mutual friend. You're here about Devil's Peak Station, yes? Excellent. That should give us a foothold on this law-forsaken planet. not to mention silencing these abhorrent transmissions. Once you leave this forlorn town, look to the horizon and you'll see a mountaintop that looks like a fiendish skull with 2 curving horns. That's where the station is. There's a path along the western... Unfortunately, monsters and marauders... If Mizukande sent you, then I've no doubt. However, there is a mercenary of some fame... Law, how I hate... Anyway, she might be useful. Good luck.
They were coming real close to eating me. You, what are you doing out here? Not that Oh. That's ominous. Well, at least... Thanks for the help. I've got to pick up some things from the bay, but I run a little stand near Fallbrook. Next time you need some...
From here. The humidity is really uncomfortable. Look! I didn't mean what I said about your outfit. It's very fashionable, I swear. Come out!
I smell blood!
You want to buy some?
word, if I may be so bold? Well now, here I thought those mantisaurs had peacefully exited the premises. But you're a simpler explanation. Thanks for the assistance. Name's Weston. Every once in a while, I set up shop along these... Care to purchase?
realize this being as you're an outsider, but the blaring alarms indicate the station's on lockdown. Which means you can't ever... So leave already.
I smell blood!
You out there, whoever you are, yes, I can see you. Come here and talk to me. Face the intercom. I can't tell if you're brave or simply touched in the head. What in the galaxy are you doing sniffing around my station? Unless you are, in fact, trying to suicide by Marauder? You're talking to him. By the hand of fate and my own cunning skill, I run this station. The Marauders may have other plans, and since my hired hands have clearly turned idle, it appears I have need of you. As my newest contractor, you... Excellent. I barricaded the broadcast center, but I can only hold out. They destroy the transmission equipment, the elevator, and... Aside from the bits I'll be paying you, I trade in secrets, valuable ones for my vocation. I'm sure you can...
Never thought I'd be ecstatic at having the walls painted in blood, but seeing as it's not mine, this ought to square our debt. One hefty payment for a... Allow me to pose my question. Allow me to assure you that I know absolutely nothing about any allegedly illegal broadcasts. Surely the board is aware of that. They must know I'd never involved myself in such despicable activities. There's utterly no reason to arrest anyone in this broadcast station, let alone me. In fact, you're doing me a favor by helping me disable any alleged such broadcasts, if they exist. You could do me another favor by mentioning my loyalty to the board in your report. You are aware of what I broker, yes? As an agent of the board, surely a day will come when you find yourself... When that day arrives... Excellent. Yes, that is reassuring to hear indeed. The station routes all communications across Monarch. Since the company... Amber Heights is one of the only surviving settlements outside of Stellar Bay. Graham Bryant and the Iconoclasts there got their hands on a working relay station. Now they're ceaselessly transmitting philosophist ramblings on my airwaves. Graham and his Iconoclasts believe anarchy is the way of life. Sanjar opposes. No, they're jamming the limited frequencies we have at our disposal. Nothing extraplanetary can get in or out until the frequency... The safest bet is to convince Graham and Sanjar to... Do what you like. Just don't tell me about it after. I enjoy sleeping at night. Be a doll and shoot...
Mantiqueen.
Yeah. We fell.
A stranger comes to our home. Stop. No. Spreading the truth is the only way to... I'd rather not resort to violence. This is a place of understanding and acceptance. Understand that... They can't be everywhere at once. Surely... Surely...
Graham, we should be focusing on survival anyway.
Pivot, huh? If radio isn't working... I've had my sights on an old printing press.
Wait.
Help me...
Huh? What was that?
Get him!
What was that?
Heard something.
Huh, what was that?
Something's not right.
What's that?
Heard something.
Huh? What's that?
I see the iconoclasts have expanded their quarrel to include you. Ah, fractious bunch, aren't they? Anyway, you're just as rigid as the old executive committee. Why, we've hardly been able to get a clear message out until recently.
When Graham finally shut up.
It isn't easy keeping a town like Stellar Bay afloat, especially without the board's backing. We need... Indeed. That's why it's imperative that MSI be and the first step is...
scavenging here, and a Meta Queen showed up. I ran in here, and, now the door's locked. Little help? Rude. I'll be here if you change your mind. Oh, hey! Phew. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. So look for it. What do you mean? Wait.
Phew. Thank you so much. It was getting all stuffy in there, and now I'm out here. And I'm headed back to Amber Heights.
I see the iconoclasts have expanded their core. Anyway. You weren't supposed to look. I didn't mean for any. This has been my albatross. I give MSI everything. My work. Oh, perhaps they were right. After all, what have I... Please, I can't think about this right now. Celia, schedule 30 minutes of inconsolable...
I'll pad it out with an extra...
Now. Oh, yes. I'm going to be...
Try to control...
Have you any idea how powerful this is? But that's exactly what this is. The world isn't changed with guns and speeches, much as Graham and his followers would like to... And the bill of liquidation/transfer Form 52 is one of the most formidable pieces of data entry in all of House.
It's true. One of the old execs gave herself a...
How charmingly quaint. But this is an electron...
It's an
Well, it really shouldn't be. Electronic data is... For our part, a bill of liquidation/transfer Form 52 will protect our holdings on Monarch by temporarily assigning them to a pass-through entity once we drop our bomb on the board. Did you?
But that shouldn't be a... What Mr. Nandi means is that we have some rather momentous information to deliver to the board.
Help us with this final matter, and we won't need to broadcast anymore. I have reason to believe that one of the other corporations is operating. If we can find proof, I can use that as leverage to encourage certain powers that be to accept our Bolt 52 and reinstate us on the board. If someone is operating here, then Catherine's almost certainly supplying them out of Fallbrook. Perhaps she could be convinced. Already? If only the rest of the colony operated as efficiently as you. I'll complete the Bolt 52 in no time. I dare say it'll be my...
You're getting a...
So I am. I'm working on a plan to reorganize the board. But that all comes later. First... Is this about the Bolt 52? Please. Anyway, I don't think I can handle this back and forth. I'm used to crushing disappointment, but not after having reason to hope. I knew there was something going on. This is exactly the proof we need. The board will... I'll transmit this data along with the completed Bolt 52 right away.
That means no more...
Do you hear that? It's the blessed sound of radio silence. I suppose it won't kill me to work under Sophia. I am on familiar terms with her from a, let's call it a past contract job. All that's left to do is cycle the antenna's receiver so I can input the needed adjustments. Then I'll be in the board's service. No further action required. First, I never leave the tower. No, and twofold, this is a multi-person endeavor. I need to be here to key in the sequence to the tower's system when it resets. It's simple, true. Eternal, no. What is wrong with you? However, you're welcome to brew me a Rizzo Insta coffee. Just step outside, flip the switch to... Terrific. I'll be here.
Testing 1, 2, check, check. Sweet stars. But that is a beautiful sound. Can you hear me? We are a go for broadcast. Devil's Peak Station is now fully affiliated with the board, primed and ready for any and all propaganda purposes. Now I'll kindly thank you to get out of my tower. There's no need to assert your dominance. I doubt I can make you do anything you don't wish to. Look, I am well aware that at times I may have the tiniest iota of a prickly exterior. But... take... what in the nebula? Wait, a message just broke through. It's a mayday. Black holes. Did you... Look, there's not enough room in this tower for two sarcastic holes. Right. I reckon... oh, well. Hiram? Can you hear me? Architect, save me from swindlers and fools. Sanjar, what are you bloody doing on my Yes, but... well... you can help us with this. The vessel that just went down is a UDL gunship, one of the most formidable offensive ships short of an Earth Directorate assault cruiser. We could use the gunship's armaments to defend Stellar Bay, but... listen, I don't care a single whit what you do, which means get off.
are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain.
I've just finished reading a report of your work on Monarch. The broadcasts have been silenced at last. Graham Bryant was a madman, a narcissist, and exceedingly dangerous. Colony is safer without him. And you brokered an alliance with the broker himself. Hiram Blythe is a valuable asset. Well done. Your work is exemplary. You've earned a place in the chairman's inner circle. Congratulations are in order. Patience and good work are always rewarded. Now we introduce you to the chairman's plan. Turn your eyes to the screen.
Good afternoon. I'm Chairman Rockwell, and I'm here to address a serious issue facing us. As you all know, our colony has been successful beyond our wildest dreams. Unfortunately, we've recently discovered that our food supply will not be able to sustain Halcyon's population in the long term. Everyone will die. Everyone will slowly stop living from malnutrition. But we're doing it together, and that's what matters. I fucking swear, if someone doesn't give me something to read that will placate the masses soon, all of you will find yourselves violently unemployed. But I can assure you there's nothing to fear. We've got a solution. It's called the Lifetime Employment Program. We will freeze most of the colony to preserve resources, while the best and brightest of Byzantium continue living in prosperity. Look, you idiots! How many times do I have to tell you we can't say shit like that? Fire whoever wrote this! While Halcyon's brightest minds solve the problem of our nutritional shortage, the rest of the colony will be placed in suspended animation. Individuals will be revived on a rotating basis, so that every Halcyonite can be part of the important work of saving our colony. By testing paperweights. Sorry, couldn't resist. Let's go again. And someday, in the not-too-distant future when we've solved this crisis, we'll all be back together again working for the good of Halcyon. Until then, the board shall provide for the deserving just as it always has. So, obey your supervisors, take your vitamins, follow your corporate-mandated grooming rituals, and rest assured with the board on your side, there is nothing to worry about.
Halcyon is on the verge of a total systems collapse. The truth is ugly and difficult to accept, but we must accept the truth before we can move forward. Malnutrition is already a problem. Disease will come next, followed by starvation, followed by a breakdown of society, followed by extinction. I know this must come as a surprise to you. I imagine you have questions. I'll answer however I can. When I first discovered the truth, I was shocked, even disgusted. But the more I thought about it, we have become lazy and decadent. We smother ourselves in meaningless bureaucracy. I've served the board long enough to understand its weaknesses. Running a colony requires swift and decisive action. The board, that's why I'm relying on you. We need to talk about... I will be frank. Edgewater was a lost cause. I never expected the settlement to survive another year. But then, you came along. I don't know how you managed to convince a faction of disloyal workers to return to their posts. In fact, Edgewater is more productive than ever before. Every worker in Edgewater will be expedited into our lifetime employment program. Well done, Captain. That town owes you an enormous debt. Sensible as well as modest. You're quickly becoming my favorite freelancer. You should be proud of yourself, Captain. You're on the verge of making history. There's just one last job I need you to do for me. I've made arrangements for you to journey to the Hope. You will board your former colony ship, reactivate its navigation systems, and skip the colony ship into orbit around Tartarus. Once the Hope is in position, we will have everything we need to... I have the highest faith in your abilities, Captain. You and I are going to save